In less than 30 days on Etsy, I just made $91,000 in revenue just over 1.5 years after starting my store from scratch. Yes, I know before everyone in the comments says revenue is not profit. Yes, with print on demand, it is a smaller profit. Usually I have about a 30% profit, but I did run a few ads and a lot of sales over this last period. So my profit came to about 26%. That's just shy of $24,000 profit in the last 30 days. And because I also know someone in the comments is gonna be like, show me the proof, here it is. So yes, that 90K did not go into my pocket. Hint, no e-commerce store will. There are very, very, very little business models where you're not actually going to have expenses when you get orders. But making these sales was extremely passive. The only thing I had to do this month was answer a few extra customer service questions. I didn't have to print, I didn't have to ship. I wasn't really adding new designs. So this $24,000 that did come to me was made extremely passively by only working on my store, answering questions for maybe an hour a day. And I don't want this video to be a whole brag just to show you what I did, but I actually want to explain, one, what could be possible with print on demand, and two, what I think I did differently that got me here within a 1.5 years. So with that, I have got 6 tips on the things I think I did that resulted in these types of sales. Number 1, I actually did research on what I was going to sell in my store. Not just niches, but products as well. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've probably seen me use this tool, and it's called eRank. And I use eRank to find out which products and which niches to sell in. And I also use it to find the ones to completely avoid. So one thing I learned from eRank this year, by using them, I actually searched up both sweatshirts and t-shirts. Last year, I was focusing on t-shirts. But one thing that you'll actually notice in eRank is that t-shirts are way less commonly searched, yet they have tons more competition. So you can see here in t-shirts, the average amount of searches is just shy of 27,000. Yet they have 6.3 million people creating t-shirt designs. Yet sweatshirts had 36,000 monthly searches and just shy of 2 million competition. These stats look a lot better than t-shirts. But another thing I did notice is that sweatshirts majorly pick up in the winter months and completely almost drop off in the summer months. And I like to have some consistent sales, while I also notice that t-shirts are pretty stable throughout the year and actually peak in the summer. So I didn't want to ignore t-shirts completely. So instead, what I did is I designed for sweatshirts. And when I found a best-selling sweatshirt, when the summer months were coming up, I focused really hard on moving all of my best-selling designs over to t-shirt listings as well. Not only did I use eRank for product research, but for niche research. And I have tons of videos. A lot of my older videos are exactly about how to use eRank to find unsaturated niches. So go ahead and watch those if you haven't, because doing your research is extremely important so you aren't wasting time. Coming into 2023, I actually am planning to expand to more products. So I am starting my research now, using eRank to find out which ones are actually worthwhile to design for. Reason 2 why I think this year did so well for me. My first year was about testing and testing and testing. Like I said before, we were doing research to find different niches, but not every single niche was profitable. I tested tons of different niches to figure out which ones I was making sales in, which ones I was good for designing for, which ones I like to design for, and that helped me really find which niches work specifically for me. After casting my net and testing tons of different niches, I would find one or a few of them that seemed to do really well for me. This could be because I just found the right keywords, because competition was low, because there weren't that many great designs in there. For whatever reason, it is working for you and it might not work for somebody else. Maybe you just seem to know that niche. It is something dear to your heart, so it made it easier to design for. I would try to take over that niche. I wouldn't just sit with one design. I would make tons of different variations of designs for that niche so that I was the main provider for people shopping within that niche. Then, when I have fully exhausted all of my ideas for that niche and I'm starting to get data on which designs actually sell, I would try to think of how then to cast out the net again and try different niches. But I wouldn't start from ground zero. What I would do actually is grab my best sellers from that current niche that I've been designing in and see if it can be applied to others. Obviously, it was working for one group. Perhaps it's going to work really well for another group. And that saves you tons of time, again, in the testing because you're not having to redesign every single product. You're just changing it up a bit to appeal to a whole new group of people. And then once you do that, you have an ongoing system to test niches and designs, and you just keep using the data that you're getting to scale upwards and upwards. Another thing that I would do is I would make sure that I was ahead of everybody for designing for certain seasons. For Christmas, I didn't want to be listing my products in October. I was listing them in June and July. The Etsy algorithm takes some time to start ramping up. Yes, you can make a sale once in a while pretty quickly after you've listed something, but I have some products that didn't sell for months after I listed them, and then they just kept selling. Because the way the Etsy algorithm works is once you get a sale and you get a good review, you start ranking a little bit higher. Then it's easier to be found. So someone buys your product again and you rank higher. And it's just this exponential growth until you are ranking super high with our product. So even if your design is better, but you listed your product in October and someone listed theirs in June and they were able to get some early sales from that, they're going to be ranking way ahead of you. And it's going to be hard to catch up because they've already went through the slow little growth period of that listing to the point where they're on the curve upwards. Momentum is so important in your work, in your listings, and so much more on Etsy. So you need to be ahead. And then this point might be a little controversial to my last point, even though that last point could be applied to many different designs and many different niches. But one thing I do not recommend for beginners is to be focusing on chasing holidays. As a new beginner, your shop should not be filled with Christmas, with Halloween, with Valentine's Day, and pretty much any of those types of niches that have an expiry date. Christmas could do extremely well, but after December 24th, you are not going to be making any sales. The momentum dies there until next year. It only has a selling period of a few months. And every single person on Etsy is designing for holidays. As a new store with zero sales, you're not going to be selling a Christmas shirt if you're selling a similar one to someone who already has thousands of sales and the momentum behind them. So back to the momentum. Instead, what you want to be doing is focusing on evergreen products that are not tied to a holiday. Because guess what? They still sell during Christmas. If anything, they sell better than Christmas because during Christmas, people are not buying people gifts that are Christmas themed. I wouldn't buy my sister a Santa hat for a Christmas gift because by the time she opens it, Christmas is done. People are buying evergreen products for Christmas gifts. And now, because you've actually made sales on that evergreen product, and it is not tied to Christmas, but you still got a major rise in sales during Christmas because of gifts, you are now ranking higher going into 2023. And it still has a chance to sell, again, because it's evergreen. It might sell for birthdays. It might sell for grad gifts. There's tons of reasons people might still be shopping after Christmas. And your product can continue selling because it isn't tied to Christmas. And I think to get consistent sales as a beginner, you really need to be designing outside of what everybody else is doing, and you need to have momentum on your side and some time. Once you have consistent daily sales from your evergreen products, that's when you can move on to trying to chase holidays. Though I still prefer to still design for evergreen products way more than Christmas. I sold way more evergreen than actual Christmas products this year, even though I had both listed. But when you do decide to actually add in Christmas products, make sure everything is super niched down. Again, you want to be sticking out. So for Christmas, you don't want to just have a Merry Christmas shirt to compete with a million other stores doing the exact same thing. It has to be a super, super specific type of Christmas shirt, a nurse Christmas shirt, a cat Christmas lover shirt. Check out my video here on trying to sub-niche down and how to break through saturated niches. Another thing I did was run constant sales. So I didn't just run a sale for like a month what I did is I would constantly set up sales and run them for a few days, like 2 or 3 days. And the reason I would do that is because Etsy will have this little banner that says, this sale ends in 2 hours. That gives people urgency to buy. So they're not just going to add you to their favorites and then forget to purchase from you. This is going to spark an impulse buy from them and give them way more reason to actually purchase from you today. So especially during Christmas, for Black Friday and for Cyber Monday, I would make sure I had sales running that expired at midnight to make sure that they saw that banner and knew that they couldn't get this deal tomorrow, even though I kind of did turn it on again a day later. But they don't have to know that. As you can see from my results and how long I've been doing this, yes, it's turned out great, but I didn't get these results from the start. Everything was momentum. I feel like that's going to be my keyword for this video, is the momentum behind your store is super important. When you're starting out, it is going to be the slowest period before you start building up, finding what is working, scaling higher, and getting that momentum behind your store. And I truly believe if you are putting in actual effort into learning designs, learning SEO, learning different strategies, that you can get here as long as you are consistent and putting in the hard work to actually learn and not just throwing up something on Etsy that perhaps may sell and putting 1 hour into it and then expecting to be making a full-time income on Etsy. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope that if this is something that excites you, it is something you give your 100% into, because this does work. Again, it's up to you to make it work though. And please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please give me a subscribe so that you are informed when I release more videos like this. And please drop a like on this or a comment to let me know if I should make more videos like this. Thanks, guys.